In this podcast episode, Ben Shapiro discusses Joe Biden's recent announcement that he wants to debate Donald Trump, analyzing the implications and potential strategies behind this move. He also delves into various other topics, including economic challenges, foreign policy decisions, and the role of college campuses in promoting left-wing ideologies. The episode features a guest appearance by Dunnigan, a comedy writer and stand-up comic who shares his experiences in the entertainment industry. Shapiro begins by interpreting Biden's sudden interest in debating Trump as a sign of his declining poll numbers. He argues that if Biden were leading comfortably, he would not consider debating Trump, especially given his previous avoidance of such debates. Shapiro criticizes Biden's delivery in a video challenging Trump, noting its scripted nature and multiple cuts in a short 14-second clip. He questions Biden's ability to handle a 2-hour debate, given his struggles with public speaking and coherence. Shapiro predicts the dynamics of a potential debate, suggesting that Biden will focus on attacking Trump over events like January 6th and election denial, while Trump will criticize Biden's presidential performance. He believes Biden aims to shift the focus onto Trump to distract from his own shortcomings. Shapiro also discusses Biden's proposal for debates hosted by news organizations, intended to influence early voting and avoid distractions from the conventions. He criticizes Biden for rejecting the nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates, interpreting it as a sign of weakness. The podcast then shifts to the economic challenges facing Biden's administration. Shapiro discusses rising inflation rates and their impact on consumers, criticizing Biden for failing to address these issues effectively. He points out that Biden's policies have not curbed inflation or boosted the economy. He also highlights Biden's decision to impose new tariffs on Chinese products, despite previously criticizing Trump for similar actions. He argues that tariffs harm American consumers and questions their effectiveness in benefiting domestic industries. Shapiro contrasts Biden's tariffs with those implemented by Trump, which were designed for national security reasons. He points out that Biden's tariffs are not aimed at protecting national security, but rather at compensating for overregulation of certain industries. Shapiro highlights the negative impact of Biden's environmental regulations and mandates on the car industry, particularly in states like Pennsylvania and Michigan, where these policies are affecting jobs and competitiveness. The discussion moves to Biden's foreign policy decisions, specifically regarding the situation in the Gaza Strip. Shapiro criticizes the Biden administration for suggesting that Israel cannot achieve total victory in Gaza and for pushing for a peacekeeping force to fill the power vacuum post-conflict. He argues that this approach undermines Israel's security and benefits terrorist groups like Hamas. Shapiro also discusses the administration's attempts to appease both sides of the political spectrum, leading to contradictory signals in foreign policy matters. He highlights the challenges of dealing with a radicalized population that supports terrorist groups and criticizes the administration's lack of a coherent strategy in the Middle East. Shapiro also touches on the Biden administration's arms deals with Israel, noting the mixed signals being sent regarding military support. He criticizes Biden for his inconsistent approach to foreign policy and his failure to take a strong stance in support of Israel's security and sovereignty. The podcast also addresses the role of college campuses in promoting left-wing ideologies and censoring conservative voices. Shapiro criticizes the army of losers on college campuses who suppress free speech and promote radical agendas. He emphasizes the importance of standing up for conservative values and pushing back against the prevailing liberal narrative in academia. Shapiro then shifts focus to the ongoing trial involving former President Donald Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen. He highlights Cohen's questionable credibility as a witness, given his past criminal convictions and current endeavors, such as pitching a reality TV show. Shapiro criticizes the media for portraying Cohen as a hero of the resistance and points out the irony of his involvement in the trial. The discussion moves on to the primary battle within the Democratic Party targeting Bowman, a congressman known for his anti-Semitic views and radical positions. Shapiro plays a clip of Bowman defending a controversial phrase and accusing his opponent of racism. He criticizes Bowman for playing the race card and emphasizes the importance of forming coalitions and working effectively in legislative bodies. The podcast takes a lighter turn as Shapiro introduces his guest, Kyle Dunnigan, a comedy writer and stand-up comic. Dunnigan shares his experience working on the animated series Mr. Birchum with Adam Carolla and the rest of the cast. He discusses his character, a video gamer from Southern California, and the enjoyable aspects of working on the show. Dunnigan reflects on his journey into comedy, mentioning his initial shyness and eventual embrace of performing for attention. He talks about his transition from improv and sketch comedy to stand-up, driven by the financial prospects in the industry. He expresses gratitude for the opportunity to work with the talented cast of Mr. Birchum and highlights the camaraderie among the team. In the final segment, Shapiro delves into Bernie Sanders' suggestion of the need for more Black and Latino doctors to better serve Black and Latino communities. He questions the validity of this claim and whether the stats support the idea that doctors of specific ethnicities provide better care for patients of the same background. Shapiro raises concerns about the implications of such statements and the potential for discrimination in healthcare based on race.